She wasn't supposed to look back, not even once. Behind her, an entire city was being erased, consumed by fire, swallowed by destruction as if it had never existed. The sky burned, the ground trembled, screams echoed into the night. And still she slowed down, just for a second, just one glance at the life she was leaving behind. In that moment, everything stopped, no warning, no second chance. The instant she turned, her body froze, and something impossible began to happen. Long before that moment there was a city that never slept, a place filled with noise, desire, and endless indulgence. This was Sodom. By day its tachezaju were crowded voices bargaining, laughter echoing through narrow streets, merchants calling out to anyone who would listen. But by night the city changed, the shadows grew longer. The streets became darker, and something far more dangerous began to reveal itself. People no longer cared about right or wrong. There were no limits, no restraint, no fear of consequence. Every desire was justified, every action excused. And over time the line between good and evil disappeared completely. Yet life went on as if nothing was wrong. Families lived there. Children grew up there. And among them was one man trying to hold on to what little goodness remained. But the city around him was rotting. Slowly, silently, until it reached a point of no return. And on a night that seemed no different than any other, everything was about to change. Among the people of Sodom there was one man who didn't fully belong. His name was Lot. He lived in the city, walked its streets, spoke with its people, but deep inside, he knew something was wrong. Every day, he saw things he couldn't accept. Every night, the weight of it grew heavier, and yet he stayed. Because this was his home now. His family was here, his life was here. Lot wasn't alone. He had a wife and daughters who had grown up surrounded by everything Sodom had become. To them, this city wasn't broken. It was normal, safe, familiar, especially for his wife. She had built a life here, friends, memories, a sense of belonging that ran deep. Sodom wasn't just a place to her, it was everything she knew, everything she loved. And that was the problem. Because while Lot could see the danger, she could or maybe she refused to. There was a quiet tension between them, unspoken, but always there. One wanted to leave, the other had no reason to. And neither of them knew that very soon they wouldn't have a choice. That night everything changed. It began quietly. Two strangers entered the city. No one knew where they came from. But there was something different about them. Something that didn't belong to Sodom. Lot noticed immediately. While others stared with curiosity or something darker, Lot felt something else, urgency. Without hesitation, he approached them and insisted they come to his home. There was no time to explain, no time to argue. Because deep down he already knew, this was not an ordinary night. Inside his house the air grew heavy. The strangers spoke calm, direct, undeniable. What they revealed was unthinkable. The city would be destroyed. Completely, not in days, not in hours, but soon, very soon. Fire would fall from the sky, nothing would remain. Lot's heart pounded, his mind raced. This was the end, not just for the city, but for everyone in it. Then came the warning, clear, absolute, non-negotiable. Take your family, leave immediately, do not stop. Do not hesitate, and whatever you do, do not look back. Outside the city was still alive, unaware, unchanged, continuing as if tomorrow would come. But inside that house, time was running out. There was no time to process. No time to say goodbye. The moment the warning ended everything moved, fast, urgent, unforgiving. Lot rushed through the house, calling for his family. His voice was shaking, his hands trembling. Get up, we have to leave, now. Confusion spread across their faces. Fear followed quickly after. Outside something had changed. The air felt heavier. The ground uneasy beneath their feet, and then a distant rumble, low at first, almost easy to ignore. But it didn't stop, it grew louder, deeper, like something massive was awakening beneath the earth. They stepped into the night. The city was still there. But it didn't feel the same. People were moving. Some shouting, some running, others frozen, staring at the sky, and then it happened, a flash, blinding. Violent. For a split second the entire city turned white, and fire. It fell from above, not like rain. Not like anything natural. This was destruction. Pure, relentless, absolute. Buildings ignited instantly. Streets cracked open, screams filled the air, overlapping, endless. The sky roared, the ground shook. Chaos consumed everything. Run! Lot grabbed his family, pulling them forward. There was no direction, only escape. Behind them Sodom was collapsing, burning, disappearing piece by piece. Heat chased them. A wave of destruction closing in with every second. The path ahead was dark, uncertain, but stopping wasn't an option. Not now, not ever again. They ran, faster, harder, each step heavier than the last, breath turning into gasps, fear turning into panic, and somewhere in the middle of it all, something began to change, not around them, but within them. Because leaving a place like that wasn't just about escaping, it meant abandoning everything. Every memory, every connection, every piece of a life that once felt permanent, and for one of them, That was a price too heavy to pay. They kept running, step after step, further away from the city that once defined their lives. The flames behind them still roared loud, violent, impossible to ignore. But something else was louder. The silence inside her mind. Lot moved ahead, focused, determined. He didn't look back, not even once. His daughters followed, terrified, clinging to the only future they had left. But she was slowing down. At first it was barely noticeable, a single step just a little behind, then another. Her breathing changed. Not just from exhaustion, but from something deeper, heavier, pulling her backward, because behind her was everything. Her home, her memories, the life she had built piece by piece, the streets she walked every day, the people she knew, the world she understood, gone all of it, in a single night. The sounds grew louder again. Not just explosions, but voices, echoes, louder, fragments of a life that no longer existed. Or maybe a life she wasn't ready to let go of. Her eyes began to shift, not fully, not yet, just enough to feel it. That pull, that question forming in her mind. What if just one look, just one, to see it one last time? To confirm it was real. To hold on to something before it disappeared forever. The command echoed in her memory. Do not look back, clear, absolute, final. But the human heart doesn't always follow commands, especially when it's breaking. Her steps slowed again. The distance between her and the others grew. The fire behind her crackled louder. Closer, brighter. And then, she stopped, for just a moment, caught between two worlds, the one ahead, and the one she couldn't let go of. Time seemed to slow. The fire behind her roared louder than ever, crashing, consuming, erasing everything in its path. Heat pressed against her back, relentless, unforgiving. And still, she stood there, frozen between fear and longing. Ahead of her, Lot kept moving. He didn't turn. He couldn't because he knew what would happen. But she didn't move, not forward, not anymore. Her fingers trembled. Her breath caught in her throat, and then she made a choice. Slowly, almost gently, she turned her head. Just a little. Just enough to see for a single moment. Her eyes met the burning city. Everything she had ever known. Consumed in fire, and in that instant it happened. No warning, no sound, no time to react. Her body stopped. Completely, the movement vanished from her limbs. Her skin began to change, hardening, cracking, losing all warmth. From flesh to something lifeless, something still, something eternal, a silent transformation, unnatural. Final, where she once stood, there was no longer a person, only a figure, frozen in place, a form shaped like a human, but stripped of life, turned into salt, forever facing what she was never meant to look at. Lot didn't stop. He couldn't because deep down he already knew, some losses are too final to face, so he kept moving. Forward, away from the fire, away from the past, away from everything that had just been erased. His daughters followed in silence. No one spoke, no one turned around. Behind them, the destruction continued. The city was gone, reduced to nothing, as if it had never existed. But one thing remained, a single figure standing alone in the distance. Still, unmoving, a reminder, not of destruction, but of a choice, because she wasn't destroyed by the fire. She wasn't caught in the chaos, she wasn't too late, she simply looked back, and sometimes that's all it takes. Not a great sin, not a terrible act, just a moment of hesitation, a refusal to let go. A heart still tied to what should have been left behind, and that moment changed everything. Forever.